True Top Radio LA, man. We are broadcasting live in Baltimore, Maryland, via Los Angeles, California, man. I'm your host, Big Homie Smiles, man. Long live Nipsey Hussle. Y'all can follow me on Instagram. That's Big_Homie Smiles with a Z, man. That is my guy on the ones and twos. Been ready, like we've been ready for justice in our community against police brutality, man. They doing us wrong. Ocean City had a police officers pepper spray and tase a nigga for some vape, man. Been ready, like we've been ready for our reparations. Been ready like we've been ready for our reparations, man. We got a good show today. I got a wonderful guest, man. We are doing a part 2 of Are You in Good Hands? This for my people that are out there without life insurance. Without life insurance, you know what I'm saying? We want to make sure that you are accurately covered. I got my cousin who is a licensed insurance agent for American Income on our show today. Just before we bring him on, though, I want to give y'all the purpose again of my show for my audience out there. I want to thank YouTube, Spotify, Apple, everybody that's looking at me and hearing me. So the purpose of this podcast is to encourage my people to invest in themselves. In our community, due to systematic racism and lack of awareness, we miss out on a teachable moment when it comes to planning and securing financial stability. I live in a generation of quantity over quality. How fast can I get rich? When investing in yourself is not about what's in your account, it's about your assets. It comes down to what will happen when I die. Where will my money go? How will my assets be taken care of when I'm no longer alive? Will my family be good financially when I'm gone? What does it cost to bury me? Making sure your life is insured is the biggest investment you can make. I wanted to leave my audience with something to think about when investing in yourself. So quickly, I'm going to give you guys a definition of what life insurance is before I bring my next guest, Calvin, who is an insurance agent for American Life Income. So life insurance is insurance that pays out a sum of money either on the death of the insured person or after a set period. So we're gonna bring Calvin Jones to the podcast, man. I want to thank him. This is my cousin and shit, you know what I'm saying? I want to thank him for showing up with me, man. Thank you for being on time this time. You feel me? I appreciate you being here, man.
Definitely, man. First, I want to thank you, man, for giving me this opportunity on your platform. You know, this is definitely, a tremendous thing that you're doing. So I'm definitely proud of you and following your goals and your dreams and giving me the opportunity to actually, express how I feel in some of my professions on your platform. So thank you and hats off to you.
Man, I appreciate that. And shout out to Townhouse Media, man, because without them, I wouldn't even be able to have my little platform. So I appreciate my man Ben Ready for giving me the opportunity. And we're going to kick this joint off right, man, because, before I ask you the first question, there's a lot of people out in the community, especially in the Black and the brown community, Calvin, that really are unaware about life insurance. And if they're aware about life insurance, they don't really have the understanding or the insight on why it's very important. You know what I'm saying? Especially in our generation. So my first question for you today is, what made you want to become an insurance agent?
That's crazy. It definitely wasn't something that, I just said, hey, I woke up one day and said, hey, I want to be. But it would have something to do with just my grind and my grind. So I actually just was just keep grinding. I ran into someone who was already licensed and asked me that I want this opportunity. So I hopped on it and I just took full-fledged on soaking up everything that I can soak up with that. So. That's
awesome. So you said you hooked up with somebody who was already an insurance agent. Now, is this did he randomly find you, or were you working at another job and he hooked you up? Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually already in a working environment. I was working at a Perry Ellis, so he came in and I actually styled him. So he liked how I styled them as well as my customer service and how I serviced them. So he, asked me, what other opportunities are you looking for? And I said, I'm looking for all opportunities along they are positive and influential.
So you was already selling them. He came in there and you did your thing as far as dressing them, and you was able to invest by hopping on board with him with this insurance.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Now, what is it? Why is it important, Calvin, for us to have life insurance?
One, it's definitely important to have life insurance, because you don't want, no one to be responsible to bury you. We all say that, we are grown adults and this and that, but when it comes to handling all of your, responsibilities, this is definitely a responsibility that, needs to be handled.
Right. Now, when you mention like responsibilities, what are some responsibilities that people are unaware of that come with a person's passing?
Just for one, the responsibilities is just actually just burying the person. A funeral costs nowadays between the prices of $12,000 and $15,000. That's not included.
Damn, 15,000.
Yeah, and wow. 15,000. So, it costs one, and then no one has $15,000 laying around. Do you got $15,000 laying around?
Hell no.
And the people who do got $15,000 laying around, I'm pretty sure they don't want to bury it. You know, just put it.
I like how you mentioned to bury it, because technically you burying your money if you putting that money out there for, what I'm saying, that's 15,000 going in the ground for real.
Really going to the ground.
Damn. So when you're looking at life insurance, is it because I know that you mentioned that people it's necessary for life insurance, number one, to be buried, but also, do you believe that it is important because it protects those that you love, like family members? Exactly. Or does life insurance do that, or is just about putting you in the ground?
That's exactly the second step to life insurance is actually generational wealth. You get
explain that one.
So you get life insurance because each policy or different policies actually can gain equity, is what we call equity, such as like your house or something like that. So what we do is depending on what type of policy, depending on how much money you put into your premiums a month, that it gains its equity over the period of years. So if you most African Americans do in our community, we outlive our policies, or we outlive retirement, or we outlive our jobs, because our jobs and our retirement, they're banking on us to actually die early, so we won't be able to get the money.
That's why they have us working all the motherfucking hours.
Exactly. So what happens with that is, we are actually, betting on ourselves to actually live, so we can actually reap that money and still have some money to bury us, because it really doesn't cost that money to bury us. But the key is to get us to, we never know when God's going to call us to the higher calling. So, it's always good to have it in place, better than not to have it when you need it the most.
I like that. It's better to have it in place as opposed to not have it when you need it the most.
Yes.
Now, it's almost like, it sounds like, okay, because just to digress a little bit, I sold cars for a little bit, right? And when I was selling cars, my GM, Paul Tabola, told me that the two most important things that purchases you're going to make in your life is a house and a car. But it seems like he missed out also life insurance. Because with life insurance, you also can put in equity into your policy. Like you said, most of the times, Black and brown people, we outlive our policies. Yeah. Now, is there a certain before I ask you that, because that's a deeper question, can you use insurance, the money from insurance policies, to, like, say if you had loans or something like a mortgage or a car loan or something, would you be able to use your insurance policy to pay that off? But if you haven't died yet, because I know you mentioned that it's equity, like, right, it's an investment.
Yes, that's actually the whole point of actually taking your benefit while you're living. Taking advantage of your benefit while you're living.
Right.
By building this equity, there are going to be tough times where you can actually borrow against your own whole life policy. As well as you don't have to pay any taxes back on that, such as you have to do with the banks. So if you go to the bank, you're gonna have a 3%, 4%, 5% tax when you're dealing with mortgages, or maybe like 10 to 15, 14 to 29% when you're just talking about just a regular business loan or a regular loan. So what happens with that, when you're taking it out with your policy or betting with yourself, you actually don't have to pay taxes back against that. So it's
tax free, so it becomes tax free.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And getting into that, if you do borrow against your policy, depending on what type of policy you do have, I would definitely go over the type of policies. But that you do have, you don't have to worry about paying that back. While you're still alive, but it happens if you pass away. It actually comes out of your face amount value when your beneficiary gets the money.
And when you say face benefit, did you say face benefit or face value?
Face value, face amount value.
Face value, and what's the face value is the actual cost of the policy, or the face value of the retail of what is the market?
The face value of your policy is how much you actually have in your policy. So if you have $100,000, that would be called your face value.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what are reasons? I know you listed a few. What you mentioned that mortgages. We also mentioned that it creates generational wealth. What are some other reasons why people build insurance, buy insurance for?
One, because we don't include our, I would say, hospital bills.
Oh, true.
Hospital bills. A lot of people, kind of, sweep underneath the rug, but our family has to take care of that responsibility if something does happen. Or, people, health insurance doesn't cover but a certain amount of time or but a certain amount of money. And God forbid we get sick into a circumstance to where our health insurance runs out. What other money do we have? No, now we can borrow that money against our policy without owing anything back.
Right. So it's like almost like you're getting a grant for your life, almost in a way, because with grants you don't have to pay those. I don't know. I'm just trying to make the correlation for maybe if people don't understand. So it's like a grant, like getting a school grant. You know what I'm saying? So say if you take out a loan, but it's a grant, and those grants you don't have to pay back, but you got to do what's necessary. You know what I'm saying, to make sure that you're appropriating the right monies to the right places so that you don't have to pay. Is it something like that, right?
Right. It's something
you don't have to pay it back.
Right, something similar to that extent. You do want to pay it back because you're taking the money from yourself. But if something was to happen and you didn't pay it back, it would just come out your face amount value as if you already got paid that money.
Right. So you would have to pay yourself back though. It's not like you.
Right.
It's not like
you're paying the bank back.
It's not like you paying the bank back, but you technically paying yourself back because. Right, because that money is going to eventually come back to you,
to your family,
almost like in the government when you get the when you get to retirement thing or something, like you can take out some money from your retirement, but you got to put it back in or something like that.
Right, you talking about your 401k?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's like that.
Something similar, but it's better because even with your 401k, they still tax you.
Even with the 401k, they still tax you. So life insurance is a better investment just all the way around, because you're not worried about nobody going in your money and taking taxes out.
Depending on what type of policy you have, man. There's hundreds of different type of policies, but I basically construct my policies with my company into like 3 types of policies, which is accidental, term, and you have whole life.
Accidental, term, and whole life. Now, before you get into those, because you ahead of the game. That's why that's why you my cousin, and that's why I appreciate you being on my podcast, because you already about to answer the questions I ain't even asked yet. That's how far ahead of the game you are. But before you get to the accidental, term, and whole life, because those is very important, and I need you to be able to go over those points thoroughly. You know what I'm saying? But before you get there, I wanted to ask you, now I know that you mentioned something about insurance, retirement, right? So when you at a job, right, you retire, your insurance policy that you had with that job is no longer, right? So now if you have, I think you mentioned like whole life insurance, but we're not gonna get too deep in it, but you just said if you purchase the whole life insurance, that whole life insurance will follow you through retirement. If you are no longer insured by your employer.
Not only will it follow through you through retirement, it will follow you through the rest of your life.
Your whole life. That's why you say whole life insurance, right?
Right. So to back it up just a little bit.
Okay.
What was the first statement you said? Cause you know me and you, how we do, we ping ponging off.
Yeah. So what the first thing that I said was, I'm sorry, my manager was talking to me for a second. So the first thing I said was I mentioned about your individual life insurance following you through retirement, because I know you mentioned that once you
Right.
end a job or whatever, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
your insurance with that job stops.
So boom.
So for some people don't have life insurance. So when their retirement stops, when they in the job, their insurance stops. So then it's stuck. You know what I'm saying? Right.
So here it is. This is what the breakdown of it, just to back it up a little bit. So when people go into jobs, right, they're going to the jobs for the money. You know, 2, they go into the jobs for the benefits.
Money.
And 3, they go into the jobs for the what we call them, the incentives. You know, what incentives does this jobs bring me, right? So what happens is people don't go through all the way through their benefits when they dealing with the jobs, because one benefit that they have that they pay attention to the most is the health insurance benefit.
Right.
So that is one part of the benefit that most jobs, you know, offer. 2 will be the actual retirement and pension benefit. You know, that's another benefit that most jobs offer. And 3 will be the life insurance benefit, which they don't really say that you're supposed to have, or they say it's optional for you to have.
Right.
You know? But they say it's not optional to have health insurance.
Right.
They say it's not optional to actually have car insurance on the car to get to the job.
Right.
So you can gain that pension and retirement.
Right.
No, but they say it's optional to have the life insurance on your life.
Right.
The reason why they say it's optional because they banking on you to actually, you know, die with a certain amount of time. Now, or you don't die, they were banking on you to quit within a certain amount of time. If you don't quit, they're banking on you to actually retire in a certain amount of time. So majority of people retire. You know, but from different generations. So now I'm gonna break it down to the generations. So our mother and father, and fathers, actually their generation are the ones who, you know, gonna have a little bit of Social Security left and pension left and retirement left. You know, so with that being said, is there are the one of the generations who've been with their jobs for 20 and 35 years to gain that pension and retirement. But now look onto our generation. We're the generation of entrepreneurs. So with that being said, we're not working for companies for 20 and 35 years. So we're not gaining any benefits or any type of retirement
incentives
or incentives with anything. So with that being said, is, you know, we're kind of in the same predicament as they are, because once they retire, to answer your question, those benefits get reduced. Or
wow. So all that money that you put in, when they say do the 2%, you know, you've been with a job, the government for 30 plus fucking years, and then, you know, you retire, you know what I'm saying? They like, damn, we can't even give you all that money you put into us, champ. As a matter of fact, we might not even could give you shit. You got to figure it out.
Basically,
and hopefully you've been doing what you was doing with your money and saving and investing and stuff. So they counting people that work the 9 to 5s. The people that hire them are counting and they are investing their money in other things, because they realize that the working money that they're getting is just to keep them afloat. You know what I'm saying? Just to survive or whatever the case might be.
Right. Exactly. Which, you know, where I come in play to where, because, you know, my company is American Income Life, and we deal with majority essential union workers, you know, such as your
post office,
firefighters, nurses,
police officers,
you know, teachers, all the way down, because those are your everyday working people. And, you know, we have a union. So we have unionized prices to where we can make it affordable for your everyday working, you know, community.
Right. Y'all take care of the blue collar workers.
Exactly.
Right. And in this, especially in this country where, you know, the working class is kind of get shitted on by the rich people, you know what I'm saying, with them not paying taxes and things like that. It's always good to have, you know, other investments and assets lined up. Now, Calvin, in your opinion, what age should you get life insurance?
Man, I'm tell you like we say in the office, man, as soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
One is because the older you get, the more the insurance costs. And when you turn 65, you're eligible. I mean, you're actually uninsurable.
Damn, when you get 65, you can't even get insurance.
When you get 65, you're
man, I hope my 50 and up club is listening, man. Y'all need insurance, man. Need insurance.
Because when you get to 65, it's going to be roughly around $500 to $600 just to maybe get $10,000 covered on you, because you're going into your last days. So that means you're more of a risk.
They said last days.
Yeah, you're more of a risk of actually, passing away because you're getting older and your health is starting to deter. So it's actually good to lock them in early. So for people who have kids,
right,
go get them locked in so they won't have to worry about it, when they get to 21, 22, 23, or even when it's time for them to even have kids. They already have theirs set in place and just have to worry about their kids.
Right.
Or for the people who don't have kids, or who are roughly in that college age and kind of want to party a little bit. So, you can get a policy for $30 for $100,000. That would just can kind of lock you in on, so when you get older to 35, you can just be worried about your family and at least have something set, because with life insurance, you want it, what we call it in the office, we want to bridge the gap. Although you have a job, yes, that most people have the benefits of life insurance, medical insurance, and retirement that can actually pay and help pay for their funeral. But everything with your job gets taxed. 401k gets taxed. Pension gets taxed.
Right.
Everything else gets taxed. Even if you have a Roth outside of your job, that also gets taxed if you take it out before 52 and a half. So if you take out anything,
and when you say raw, what's that? 52 and a half. 52 and a half.
A Roth is just like a 401k, just outside of your job. They just have to call it something different.
Okay. Got you.
Yeah, so these are the benefits that most people indulge in when they talk about longevity and actually making sure that they're, covered in all angles. So it's not bad that your job is actually helping you out with these things. But that's not the only thing that happens. You know what I'm saying? Would you put all your eggs into one basket?
Hell no. They might crack.
You put all your eggs, will depend on everything with your job. So what you do is you take your money from your job and you invest in, maybe
use your job to invest your dream.
Exactly.
Now, I was doing some research, Calvin. Now, just correct me if I'm wrong. Now, it says in my research that I've done that it is definitely important to get life insurance as young as possible. But it also says if you decide that you want to get it in your 20s, they offer things like term life insurance coverage. You know what I'm saying? Even though you might not need it. So what is term life insurance, and why do they offer that for young people in the beginning instead of the whole life that you talked about before? That seems a little bit more beneficial. Well, because I'm not sure if term life is beneficial, but it says you might not need it, but I don't know.
All right, so I'm gonna share my screen with you guys. All right.
Okay.
Share audio.
Shout out to Townhouse Media, man. Treetop Radio LA, man. We out here. American Income Life Insurance.
Can you see my screen?
Yes. You have to make it bigger, though, I think.
All right.
All righty, there we go.
There we go. Right. So here are the types of life insurance. They're all different types of life insurance, but these are the main three that
So for my people out there in audio world, we are looking at a screen that says types of life insurance. Just make sure you speak it out, Calvin, for my people that are listening and that don't visually see what you're showing on our screen.
Gotcha. So these are the types of life insurance. So you have accidental, you have term life insurance, and you have whole life insurance. Accidental insurance is what most credit unions give to their members. We also handle that as well with the credit unions, as well as what most jobs give their workers as well. Just in case something does happen while they're working at their job and they pass away, they cover their employees under accidental conditional coverage.
Right.
All right. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
All right. Now, the next one will be term, which you just talked about. It's a situational coverage. Now, term only lasts for a certain amount of time. Now, hence the reason why term eventually equals terminating.
Right. Terminating.
Now, you said majority of 20-year-olds are getting involved with the term. Maybe they're getting involved with the term because they are not properly educated.
Right.
The whole life, which is permanent coverage. It pays out on when something happens to you. You don't have to worry about it never expiring like the term does, because you can have a 4-year term, 2-year term, 25-year term. Now, it's not bad to have term, because if you own a house, this is something that you would want to indulge in a term life insurance policy, because it's a situational coverage. You're not in your mortgage, contract.
Right.
Ever. You're only in your mortgage contract for 35 years. So they have 35-year term insurance policies to actually, protect your mortgage. Now, here is where a 20-year-old can actually benefit more with the permanent coverage, whole life, because the premiums will never increase. So by them getting locked in at 20 years old, with whatever price they qualify for, they will never have to worry about changing that price unless they will actually want more coverage. And here,
okay, go ahead.
And here, what I was saying earlier, how it builds its equity will be a 4% tax-free cash value.
4% tax-free cash value. That's what you was talking about earlier when you said you don't have to worry about it being taxed at the end.
Right.
Now I saw that you had accidental coverage on there. Now is accidental coverage something that you can put along with the whole life or term? Like, can you add it? Is it like an add-on or is it just an individual insurance joint if you just want accidental?
This is individual. Each accidental is his own individual, term is his individual, and whole life is an individual. So like we said before, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So it's good to actually have everything depending on your lifestyle.
Okay. Depending on your lifestyle.
Right.
So what is accidental coverage? This question may seem, redundant, but what is accidental coverage cover? Is it like if you slip and fall, does a shooting involve a accidental coverage, or like lung cancer? Like what explain to the people out there who are listening and looking at us, accidental
insurance will only cover of you passing of an accident. So if you get shot, yes. And having to pass away, it's an accident. You will get the accidental coverage money
on top of the
whole life. If you got that, the whole life. If you got that, as well as the term.
Wow.
As well as the term. If you have the term,
so you can get all three. So you can have all three.
Yes, ma'am.
So with the a question, I know you're gonna get more into it with the whole life, but do you receive a payout for term life like you would with the whole life? I think I mentioned you as saying that it's a benefit because you can get that money back at the end, once you live out your policy or something like that.
Not with term, you don't.
Not with term.
The term runs out, that's it. It's like you paying for car insurance. It's
like you're paying for car insurance. Wow.
With term, it's like you're paying for car insurance when you have a term policy, because eventually it runs out. Just like your car insurance runs out. So you're paying just to have something. You're kind of like wasting your money, because once them years is over, you have to pay again. And then you're older, 25 years from now, so the insurance is going to go up.
It's going to go up.
Exactly.
So you can get a whole life insurance. You can also add an additional accidental coverage insurance. Now, is there a limit of the money? So say if I got whole life insurance for say $500,000, you know what I'm saying? And inside that $500,000, I want to add an additional $200,000, you know what I'm saying? For accidental coverage, just in case, because I never know. Shit happen, you know what I'm saying? Corona and shit. Them nigga may get hit by a straight bullet, hit by a dump truck. Just in case, I'm gonna add a $200,000 on top of that.
Right.
500. So I got 700,000 now.
If you catch COVID or get sick, the accidental wouldn't cover it.
So it covered COVID too.
No, COVID is a terminal illness. So
COVID is a terminal illness, huh?
Yeah. So if accidentals does not get paid out, if you get a terminal illness, or if you do not die on the scene. So if you get in a car accident, if you don't die on the scene at the car accident, where the car accident happened, you don't get paid out the accidental money.
Whoa!
If you die at the hospital from getting an accident at the car,
you get the whole life.
You still don't get the accident money. You have to die on the scene.
Wow. So I guess people can, like, people probably would be like, if somebody had accidental insurance on a and tied to the whole life, right? It'd be beneficial for somebody to accidentally kill themselves. Oh, you can't say stuff like that. My man, okay, that's my thoughts. I shouldn't have said those thoughts out loud. Disregard that. Okay, next question. Next question. So you told us what term life insurance is. Term life insurance is like a temporary life insurance policy that you just get temporarily, just in case, something happens to you. But if nothing doesn't happen to you and you live out of your that term life insurance policy, you don't get no money at the end. That money goes to the insurance company. Now, is your coverage at a fixed rate? Does it have fixed rate payments, or is it limited? Is the rates limited with the term life?
Now, if we're in an accidental policy, let me share my screen. Screen. So,
because maybe my question is, like, I think I already answered my own question. What happens to the term life insurance at the end of the term? It just, like, it goes away. It's nothing.
It's nothing. So let me show you the difference. Bow, answer your question even better. You see this?
I can't see nothing.
You can't see?
No, I don't think you shared it.
I think I am. It says.
Oh, Ben, you got hit the joint. Hey, Ben, my man body stepped over, hit a J. I gotta wait for Ben to click the joint for him to add on to it.
All right. Well, I could still tell you. So the term is more expensive as you age. It has no cash value, and it's a 1% chance of the term actually paying your family. Now, with the whole life, it locks 1%. Yes, 1%, because especially with our community, our African American community, we live to 80, 90 years old. My grandmother just passed away in April. At the end of March, in April.
Long live grandma.
No, she lived to be 90 years old.
Right.
My grandfather passed away in 2009. Her husband, he was 85.
Anna Mae passed away?
No, my dad's mother.
Oh. Hold up. I'm like, no, nigga, you ain't telling me that Anna Mae is not gone, boy. What are you doing? Okay, I'm sorry, y'all.
For a little minute. She a fighter.
Fighter. Okay.
Anna Mae a fighter.
I'm telling you. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Hey, Anna.
So, he was 85 when he passed away.
Okay.
And she was 90.
Right.
So about what, 15 more years later, he was 15 years older, about 20 years older than her.
Right.
So in the aspect of she lived at 90, he lived at 85. We have better technology nowadays. We have, a little more, advanced everything nowadays. Right. Maybe not to what we may consume sometimes, but if you pay attention to what we consume, we can live a little bit longer.
Right.
But absolutely. As far as our life expectancy, we're expecting to live long.
Right.
So a term policy, like I said again, is only beneficial if your situation actually calls it to, take place. For as mortgage protection, such as if you have any other properties or anything like any other assets that you are paying on for a certain amount of time.
That makes perfect sense. So for my people out there, just to give it in more simplistic terms, term insurance is not a savings or an investment plan. It's just a just-in-case plan. Just in case some shit happen, you know what I'm saying? I'm covered. I got a quick $100,000 to cover my expenses and funeral costs. and whatever the case may be, boom, we added it. You know what I'm saying? So for my people that are listening right now on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google, you know what I'm saying? Even at Walmart, if you're listening at Walmart, shout out to Walmart, you know what I'm saying? So it is beneficial for you guys to get whole life insurance because it's an investment and it's an investment plan. So just in case, if you are just tuning in, I'm gonna just give a brief rundown of what whole life insurance from what I gathered from what Calvin told me. Now, whole life insurance is like lifelong coverage. It gives you extra support, especially during retirement. Whole life insurance is more complex and kind of it gives you more benefits than a term. You mentioned that it offers additional benefits like being able to take out of the insurance policy, like borrow from it. It gives you benefits of not being taxed. You can have the benefit of not getting having your premiums go up. Whole life is, I think from what you said, is the most well-known and simplest form of permanent insurance because it lasts for your entire life. It builds cash value. You told me that if you get whole life insurance, it covers you until you die, and you can use those. You can tap into the whole life insurance funds later on in life after you, I believe you like paid it up or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Am I missing anything? Did you want to go over again what whole life insurance is, or did I do pretty good? I listening well? Yes. Yes, Ben, ready.
So when you order life insurance, like how much like do you have to pay into it before you can get benefits from it? So say John he applied today, and what's this? This is June, and in August John happened to pass away. Do he get that full amount that was? Now it was in a car crash, not natural cause, like car crash. So do he still get that money, or is it he didn't pay long enough to be able to get the benefits from that?
Now, that's a great question. I love that you answered that question because it makes me proud.
Great question, Ben. You making me proud. Boy, I tell you, man. Drop the bombs on yourself.
With that, it all depends on the insurance company. Now, I can speak on my insurance company. We're one out of a lot of insurance companies that does the underwriting process while you're still alive. And to break down the underwriting process, what that basically means is we go make sure that you're in good health and that you're at the age that you're actually at right now. So if something does happen to you in those 3 months that you're talking about, we're going to guarantee that money to you and your family. So with my company, I can speak on and answer your question as yes. If you indulge in a whole life policy,
yes.
If you indulge into a whole life policy, depending on the amount, for the cash value, it will actually come later on down the line. But as far as the death benefit, soon as you pass away, that's actually when your family gets that money. And with my company, unlike other insurance companies, to toot our horn a little bit, toot, we pay that money out within 3 to 5 business days. Unlike other insurance companies that does the underwriting process after you pass away, which takes them actually 30 days to 60 days to pay your family out your money.
So basically your company will basically have the money to you before the funeral gets here.
Yes, sir. It's not even before the funeral. We're paying for the funeral.
Right.
We'll be paying for the funeral because there's certain, how can we put it, complimentary benefits that my company get by us being a unionized company and handling, union workers. Yeah, you guys watched a movie or something like that, and a police officer died, and his funeral seems like it's in the next 3 days.
Right.
Exactly, because we issue that money out that fast. Because you got to think about it. A police officer, he's respected.
An official. Shout out to American Income Life.
He's respected in the community. So we need to have that, that money issued out to them as fast as possible. As well as nurses. Majority of the time nurses, when they pass away, that I know, I have a lot of nurses in my family, their death benefit gets handled very quickly.
Right.
One, because they're already in the medical field. So they kind of know the ins and outs a lot better than, someone who doesn't. So with my company, again, to answer your question, yes, we actually give that underwriting process while you're still alive. See, what happens is we actually do the underwriting process as soon as we take your first premium. So we take your first monthly premium, we already started your underwriting process, which takes about 2 weeks to a month.
Wow.
So but while we're doing this underwriting process, and if even stuff doesn't still come with that signing on the dotted line, we're still obligated to pay you and your family out that money, even if everything doesn't come back with your underwriting process efficient. Yep.
Drop the bombs. Yeah, man. Sound like American Income Life, man, is the best insurance company I think people should be dealing with. Now, are you licensed just only in DC, Maryland, and Virginia? What if I have some people who are listening in different states like California, Las Vegas, Arizona? You know what I'm saying? What if I have people outside of your insured state?
I have uplines who are definitely in all licensed in all states. So they can definitely contact me. I can definitely make sure that they can get handled in the way that they need to be handled. But the main thing with dealing with life insurance, my main concern I want people to understand, it's not something that is a short time fix. It's a long time solution, but something that you have full control over of. So you can construct it to, like I said, your lifestyle. So it's not something that has to be, people look at it as a bill, because when I break it down to people and I break that their actual plan for what they have in their life, it's a cup of coffee a week. I can stay at home and not go to the movies, or
wants versus needs. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's broken down to that. It's broken down to basically your hourly wage. If you were to work an extra hour on your job a week, you wouldn't come home and buy a Benz, or you wouldn't come home and add extra incentives to your house. You wouldn't want to try to remodel your house. You would actually wait for that to build up a little bit and then put that into action. And vice versa. If your boss told you and say, hey, we're gonna not have you work for an extra hour.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna take that hour away from you. You're not gonna come home and cut off the Netflix. You're not gonna come home and and put less gas in your tank or anything like that. You're not gonna come home and take out something out your Amazon cart. You're not gonna do those things. So when you want to look at it on a grand scale, when talking about life insurance, if Biden said today, I say executive order that everyone in America has to have life insurance, or they will be fined $500.
Right.
That's why people will go in debt to have life insurance.
The whole world.
The whole world.
The whole world going in debt. Fuck that 500, Joe Biden. I don't need life insurance, nigga.
Exactly. So it's just since I got into the field and into this profession, I see how greatly it can be benefited, because I'm telling you one part, but I'm not telling you the phone calls on how fathers and mothers and kids are actually happy that they actually have these policies set in place, because just as he said, I had signed someone up maybe like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Their mother passed away.
Wow.
It didn't happen. On their mother wasn't on their policy, but their mother only had term.
Man.
Hold on. The term took care of everything.
Right. Okay.
However, it didn't take care of all.
Right.
So she had to borrow against her whole life policy. To make ends meet.
Right.
So you see how it depends on who you dealing with, because I suggested this to her. I'm like, so if you can't really make the ends meet, she was kind of distraught and bottled up. So I'm like, how about you borrow against you, because you have this cash value here. She had about $20,000 in cash value because she had the policy for maybe like 5 to 10 years. Yeah. She's paying about $120 a month. You know, so she was looking at it like, yeah, I borrow against it and then put it back later. So that's what she did. So it kind of helped her out of her having a whole life to come and balance out for her mother in the back.
Right.
Because we're looking at a whole time having a whole life on ourselves when technically we're gonna live. What about our parents?
What about
our parents have? Our parents got some life insurance,
right? Our parents,
we're gonna be the ones responsible to bury our parents,
right? Most and 9 times out of 10, kids outlive their parents anyway. So it's more beneficial for the children to be insured, just in case, you know, a situation like what you said with the young lady, that the parent isn't insured and they're able to help out with the back end or with the whole thing for real if they ain't even insured. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? And just to give it a little background too on that, I had a friend as well. His grandfather had a policy and eventually ran out. So they had an option to actually keep this policy so it can gain more cash value later on. But they wasn't aware that this policy, you know, the insurance went up each year. So it took out their cash value to actually pay for the policy on top of them paying their premiums. So by the time they got 80, they lost the whole cash value.
Damn, bro.
Because of a particular policy they have. Now, I don't indulge in them type of policies as I educate people on how they work, but I don't educate people on actually getting them invested into that type of policy.
Right. Because that's really, it's just like a quick sale. Like even if because I sold cars.
I mean, it's not a quick sale. Those are policies you have to front end the money. Front end the money, and majority of people, you got to think about it. They don't have money.
Right.
We're in a pandemic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're in a pandemic. You know what I'm saying?
So pandemic.
So at the end of the day, you got to think about what's really going on in people's lives. Because think about it, this is life insurance. So you have to have your policy, your life insurance to actually cope to what your lifestyle is. You know, depending on how much money you're bringing in, depending on what type of lifestyle you live in, because, you know, one might not need more coverage, you know, such as a roofer.
Right.
A roofer may need more accidental coverage.
Because he might fall off the motherfucking roof.
Because he might fall off the roof.
Right. Damn, that's true.
You know, a pilot may need more accidental coverage.
Because this plane might get hijacked by the Taliban. Fucking America.
Depending on what type of, you know, whatchamacallit. Now, for you majority of the military, I tell military too, because I handle those benefits just not on the federal part, but on the outside of the you know, a soldier getting their benefits.
Right.
They don't have, you know, if they get into killed over in war, you know, they only get the money, but for so much of time.
Okay.
Like your parent, you're only getting paid that money, but so much time, and it's getting taxed every time it's coming to you.
Right. Damn.
So, those life benefits, you know, kind of really don't benefit the family, because if your family, here we go, all the list of concerns I want to talk about that most people have. Can you guys see my screen?
No, I cannot see the screen.
All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. I'm gonna share it again.
All right. Hey Ben, can you is it able to click something to share the screen? My man Ben might have stepped off again.
You gotta bring it up.
Oh, you gotta bring it up.
Is it good?
There you go. Yeah.
All right. So when can you see it?
I just see the screen in front of me.
Yeah,
it's up.
All right, cool. This is the main thing that I tell people when constructing their life insurance policy, right? So what we do is we solve these problems because there are a list of concerns that most people have.
It's only showing the screen. I don't know why I can't see it.
Video file. Nah. Share screen.
Did it come up?
What about now?
There we go. Here we go.
Here we go. All right.
Yes.
So when constructing a life insurance policy to your lifestyle, you want to solve these list of concerns. So the number one concern that most people have will be the loss of benefits through the job when they quit, get fired, or retire, which we already talked about.
Mm-hmm.
The number two will be the final expense. Now, the final expense is something that we actually, kind of just tapped on, but the final expense consists of just putting you into the grave. There's 3 types of ways that you can be buried: earth buried, cremation, or you can be put into a mausoleum, which is a building with a brick or rock that they just slide you into.
Oh, okay.
So with an average of earth burial between $12,000 and $15,000 today's time, and we're not including inflation because no one in our age group is planning on dying until the next 50 years.
Right.
60 to 70 years. I'm planning on living to 100. So I got 70 in me.
I got time on it.
So the final expense basically includes the funeral and the cremation. Your cremation basically costs you nowadays between $500 and $10,000, depending on how fancy you want to get.
Okay.
And the mausoleum is between I believe $5,000 and $15,000, depending on how fancy you would like to get.
Right.
But these are just the basic necessities that we're talking about. We're not talking about the opening and closing of the casket. Because with the final expense, I'm gonna go down just a little bit more, because there's going to be 87 things that one's gonna have to worry about the funeral and final expense when talking about burying someone. 87 things.
You're not reading all 87, right? Because
No, I'm not about
we got a little bit of time left.
I don't got that time.
Okay.
But furthermore, list of concerns. Number 3 will be the loss of income / paycheck. So this is what most jobs kind of lock in and protect. So this is good depending on, for your government workers, for your people who got good jobs, but this is kind of hard for your entrepreneurs.
Right.
Because we're not going to have anything too much on the back end for that. And then number 4 concern will be the debt / living arrangements. As far as, your debt wise, depending on how much debt one has, because everybody's different when it comes to debt. That debt doesn't die with us. Right. So our beneficiary, which is our kids, our moms, our dads, our significant others, wives, husbands, are going to be responsible for the debt, which, depending on how much debt we have, will affect our living arrangements. Right. And then number 5 will be retirement, and in college, depending on what type of family you have. If you have kids, college will be something that's good, because you want your kid to go to college if you was here or if you wasn't here. Right. And as far as retirement, with us, so by the time we get to 65 years old, there's not going to be no Social Security. So this is a big concern for me. Retirement, having money in the pension, having money in the 401k, having money in your Roth, having a life insurance plan. Yeah. And lasting will and testament. Exactly. And then number 6 will be qualifying. Most people don't understand, to actually solve these, concerns, you actually have to qualify. So qualifying consists of majority of the time of being in good health and being at the youngest age as possible, so you can get the best premium / rate. Right. Well, damn, man, that was a lot of information, man. I think my audience out there in the world would definitely appreciate, man. Calvin Jones III, man. I really appreciate you. He said the 3rd. That's my son.
You the 2nd? Is you the 2nd?
Yeah, my son the 3rd. You know he.
I'll be forgetting. Okay, Calvin Jones the 2nd. Shout out to the 3rd. You know what I'm saying?
My Lord.
My Lord. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? We had to bless him right quick with some good information. This is part 2 of those who are turning into my podcast. Are You in Good Hands? Part 2. So the part 1 was my interpretation on life insurance, whole life, term life, and last will and testament and accidental. And this time around, we're having a more professional talk with a professional agent who is actually in selling insurance. I appreciate you tuning in, tapping in with us, man. If my people out there that are listening and looking at us on YouTube, if they want to make some love donations, Calvin, to you or your company, what is your Cash App? And give them your Instagram name so they can hit you up and if they have any additional questions.
Okay, yeah, my Cash App is I believe, the Cash App names is...
Give us the right Cash App name. We can't help you if you send it. Give us the wrong one. They send it somewhere else.
It's Eclectic Tops.
Gotta spell that.
ECLECTICTOPS. Eclectic Tops.
That's right. What's your Instagram name if they want to follow you to have any insurance questions?
My Instagram name will be, you can follow my life insurance page at...
He gotta remember these pages. He's so busy, such an entrepreneur, you guys. You know what I'm saying? He gotta pull this shit up. He don't know it off top.
Oh yeah, my life insurance page is Mr. Whole Life.
Mr. Whole Life. Come on, man. You investing all the way around, baby.
Yes, sir. So Mr. Whole Life is where you can find me on Instagram. And feel free to DM me any questions, any concerns. I do everything via Zoom. So even if you are out of town, out of state, or out of the country, I can definitely set up a Zoom meeting room for you.
All righty. I hope y'all listening and tuning in. Hey, Calvin, we appreciate you tapping in. Don't go nowhere because we're going to talk after the show. Hey, y'all know I never go a podcast without telling my baby, my woman, my love. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for always helping elevate me, man. Thank you for, get me straight, man. Shout out to my man, Jamil, Ghetto Blues. I don't know if y'all can see that. Ghetto Blues is out right now on all streaming platforms as well as Check. Jamil is an artist who is currently incarcerated. I recently did a music video for him and I edited that joint, you know what I'm saying? So y'all make sure y'all stream that shit and get him. We try and make him go viral, try and get a label, something to get him up out of jail, man. They freeing Kodak, man. Free Jamil. Fuck they talk about, right? Hey, you already know it's free motherfucking Simba to that man. Free Mo Cole's motherfucking youngest in charge, man. Shout out to the house team. Long live 9, man. That man will be home, man, because we praying and believing in God, man. And when he touched down, just know it's over for you rappers out here in the DMV. Just, you heard? Hey, been ready if they want to motherfucking make some donations, because we know ain't no nation like a donation. If they want to donate some love offering to your Cash App, man, what's your Cash App? Give me your Instagram name and your business page if they want to shop with you.
Cash App is Ultimate Apparel, ALLTUHMENT Apparel. Oh, don't forget the $ in the front. IG is at The Real Ben Ready. Exactly how it sounds.
At The Real Ben Ready. Y'all already know what it is, man. We had a wonderful show, man. Shout out to everybody that is tuning in, tapping in with us. This is a Townhouse Media production, bitch. We got No Rules podcast coming up right after this, man, because I get 30 inboxes a day. Sports for you. Oh, I'm talking shit. Fucked up. Sports for you. Sports for you is coming up next and shit. And then No Rules podcast a little bit later on. Shout out to Cat versus Dog. Shout out to my man Dolomite. You know what I'm saying? Well, I forget the name of his joint.
Yeah, Too Much Game podcast.
Too much game, man. Yeah. Y'all make sure y'all come in and check us out, man. And holler at us if y'all try and get on Townhouse Media. We a family out here. You know what I'm saying?
Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Townhouse Media. Hit subscribe, and like, man.
If you like sports, tune in at 6 p.m. Our time, 6 p.m. out here.
Our time, we got it for our people that don't know our time. That's West Coast time.
Pacific Standard Time.
That's 9 p.m. our time, y'all.
Yeah, 9 p.m. Eastern time because it's west to the east. You know what I'm saying?
If you know sports and you love sports, I guarantee you will love this show.
It's like that. I mean, the host is funny as shit. All of them niggas. All of the niggas is funny. Hey, Ben ready? We out this bitch.
Hey, ain't no comparing in a McLaren when I cruise through. Send it at any nigga who's staring at it. You fuck if they doubt and can make a million if you choose. You just gotta believe it. Mine stuck on ghetto blue. Most of y'all probably gonna get offended. This life that I'm living ain't recommend. Riley should ask the Lord for forgiveness. Instead, I ask for a brick and hope he sends
live Nipsey, bitch. Get paid. Free